Yo, what up, party people? All right, so the topic today is, wait for it, personal finance. Now, before you take off and run away, let me see if I can't spruce it up, and let me see if I can't give you a sexier title, because I know that there's not a whole lot that's exciting just about the topic of personal finance. However, I think today we're going to put a different spin on it. So let's call the title of this video, How to Free Yourself from Any Emotional Baggage You Have Around Budgeting, around spending, around personal finance, by installing a system that lets you tell your money where you want it to go and then makes sure that it gets there, rather than sort of the traditional system that is tells you where your money went after it already went there and it's too late to do anything about it, which doesn't make any sense, by the way. And it's a system that will only take you 15 minutes a month to actually run. And most importantly, it's a system that's so effective that you'll have complete confidence, complete clarity, and complete control over all your finances. Okay, so that sounds a little bit more intriguing than just personal finance. So again, how do we get rid of personal baggage or like emotional baggage around personal finance, spending, etc.? How do we install a system that tells our money where to go and then make sure that it gets there while only requiring about 15 minutes a month from us, and then also gives us complete control, complete clarity, and complete confidence? Like, so much so that when you hear your friends or other business acquaintances talking about how their finances are in a shambles, you might be like, well, I got that thing on lockdown. You might actually want to brag about it, okay? So I have a name for this, sort of. I used to call it Manage My Coin back in the day when I built it. I actually bought the domain for it. There's nothing there right now, so no need to go there. And then I called it the PDP, which is a per dollar plan, and it's about how you identify per dollar coming in, how you allocate it out. The name doesn't matter. Here's what matters. Let me tell you why I made it. I made it for 3 reasons specifically. I was 30-ish, somewhere around there, and I woke up one day and I was like, this is stupid. Money is literally paper and coins, and I can't control it. And I was trying all the traditional systems where you create a budget, you create your categories, and then you download your transactions, you categorize them or whatever. I even tried the newer ones, like, oh, we're going to automatically categorize it for you. And here's what I realized. I realized that, number one, none of that helped me answer the most important question that is most important question for personal finance, which is, can I buy that thing? Okay, that's the question I need to be able to answer. I need to be able to answer it with confidence, and I need to know with complete confidence in about 15 seconds. Like, I don't want to go do research to do it. I have a life to live, and it's not designed to go do research in a personal finance system to run some algorithm to decide if I can freaking buy the thing. Okay, that was number one. Number two, I was lazy. And when I say lazy, what I mean is I'm a human. So this thing needed to be super practical. It could not require me to be disciplined over the entire course of my life to download a whole bunch of transactions and categorize them so that I knew where my money went and that it was already gone. I'm like, well, that's friggin' stupid. That doesn't make any sense. That doesn't make any sense whatsoever. And I know I said there were 3 reasons, but I got ahead of myself. Those were the 2 primary reasons that I created it. Number one, I had to be able to answer the question, can I buy this? And I needed to know confidently in about 15 seconds. And then number 2, it had to be so stupid simple that I didn't have to think about it, because I had more important things in my life to do than just hover over my personal finances day in and day out. Okay, so that's what led to this program. What I want to do in this video is I'm literally just going to draw for you exactly how money flows through bank accounts, and then I'll talk about why it's valuable, and I'll talk about how it helps you know exactly, can I buy that? We'll talk about how it's super practical and easy for you to run, and then we'll talk about how it lets you be free from the emotional baggage, as well as tell your money where to go, as well as take no more than 15 minutes a month, and then also give you complete control. All right, so to do that, we're going to draw a picture. So this will be the canvas on which we draw this personal financial wizardry system. And it's going to start up here with the amount of money that you make. Now, I'm going to talk, most of my examples will be like for entrepreneurs, but if you're an employee, the same thing applies. It doesn't matter if you work for somebody, you work for yourself. The way that money is going to flow through this will be, it'll be the exact same. So here's how it goes for me. Money comes in, and when that money comes in, and just for context sake, I guess, so I have my own personal business, and then it has ownership interest in 3 other businesses. So if I were to draw over here, I guess I'll just draw this real quick, just for context, for those that might be interested in this. I've got business 1, business 2, business 3. They run their profit. My piece gets kicked over here to my business here. Sorry, I didn't realize it wasn't on the screen. Business 1, business 2, business 3. This money gets kicked over to my business. I run my own profit out of my business with expenses. I set some money aside for taxes. And then whatever my leftover profit is comes over here, and it becomes take-home pay. Okay, so that's my personal situation. Yours might be that you don't have this in the middle. It might be that that's the only thing that you have. It might be that you work for somebody else and it just comes in the form of a paycheck. Doesn't matter. The point is, put this over here. The point is that we have money coming in, right? So here's how it flows. And I would suggest you just set it up, like I've been through a bunch of different iterations of this, and I would suggest you just set it up just like this. So the first thing is the money flows into a buffer account. This buffer account is my emergency fund. So, they talk about like, hey, you should have 3 months, 6 months, or a year. Whatever you decide that it is, I put my money into there. And then from there, I have it go out to all of my accounts. This is sort of like the personal finance operations. So I got bills to pay, stuff to buy, stuff to save up for, etc. So I'm going to draw all this out. The reason why I really suggest that you run it through a buffer account that is your 3, 6, 9, 12 months, 18 months savings, whatever you put in here, is because it will normalize your monthly operations over here. And what I mean by that is sometimes there are ebbs and flows in the amount of money that comes in over here. So as long as this buffer is greater than your monthly amount, right? So let's say you're sitting at 6 months savings over here. Then let's say you switch jobs and you got 30 a month of downtime with no income. You don't have to worry about it over here. Like it just keeps flowing. And then when you start to make more money and you have your increase, you'll just fill your buffer back up over time. So having it go through a buffer is a really nice way for you to not have to worry about how timely you are in terms of processing like your paycheck or whatever. You just drop it in the buffer. This thing is built up, and then this thing normalizes what happens over here. All right, so that's the whole point of the buffer account. So all the money comes into here. Now, we spend money. There's 4 different ways that we spend money, and so we're going to have 4 different. We're going to have accounts that basically align to the 4 different ways that we spend money. And I'm just going to walk through each of them, but it's important to recognize that money leaves us 4 different ways. Okay, the first way that money leaves is we pay bills. So I have an account, and it's literally called the bills account. So the very first, that arrow all the way over there, the very first, maybe it's not the very first way, but one way that money leaves is that we pay bills. Now, another way that money leaves is that we buy stuff. So I have another account called spending, and this is where I do all of my buying out of this account. So these two I want to get under first because it's really important to recognize the difference between them. It's also where the bulk of the value of this whole system comes, is in separating these 2 accounts out. So let me just talk about what gets spent and purchased out of each of these accounts. The bills account pays bills, period. So the bill it's your mortgage payment, it's your car payment, it's your cleaner, your landscaper, your utilities, your cell phone, your TV bill, cable bill, whatever. It's all the bills that you have that you pay comes out of here. So the way you get this is real simple. You just go make a list of your bills, and the easiest way to get that is just go look at your account that you're paying your bills out of right now, and go back 90 days and see which ones repeat, and then you got an idea of like, oh, those are all my bills. So really easy. This is like a 15-minute process to go figure out what your bills are. Once you get your monthly stuff, you just want to stop and be like, okay, do I have anything that I pay, like twice a year or quarterly or whatever? And essentially what you want to do is you want to create like in a spreadsheet, which I can give you a template at the end. I'll give you a link to that. You want to come up with what is the monthly amount that I need in order to pay all my bills. So if it's an annual bill, I want to put in X amount per month so that when that bill comes due, it can just get paid, because we don't ever want to think about this account. We want to figure out what is the relative monthly amount for each bill. And then we want to set that amount, and we want monthly from our buffer account, we're going to transfer automatically without us thinking about it, that amount into our bills account, and then all these bills are going to be paid automatically. Ideally, if there's some that you can't pay automatically, it's fine. If you've got 1 or 2 you have to pay manually, set a reminder on your calendar or whatever. But the point is you never have to worry about paying them because you always know there's enough money in this account to pay your bills, period. Okay? Now, bills are separate from spending. Spending is when I buy stuff. This is gas. This is gas for the cars. This is groceries. This is eating out. This is activities I want to do with my family. This is I want to have a little bit of extra money for me to, buy a cool thing that I see. In my wife's case, I want to be able to buy a pillow. So really what I'd call this is weekly spending. And here's why. Weekly. We'll spell that right. All right. Weekly spending. A lot of people think in terms of like a monthly flow of money, like, oh yeah, I'll just set aside a monthly amount that I can spend on groceries and everything. If you do that, you'll run out of money in 3 weeks. You just will. And it makes it super hard. Remember when I said one of the primary reasons why we created this is I want to answer the question, can I buy that? It's way too hard. If you just get one big chunk of money that is your spending money for the entire month, and you're at the third of the month, you're like, hey, can I buy this? You got to be like, okay, well, what about gas? What about groceries? What about, it's way too hard to decide. So this is weekly spending. And the way you're actually going to do this, so the way you come up with the amount that you need each week is you're just going to do like the same thing. All right, well, about each week, what do we do? How much do we spend at the grocery store? And you're going to do 2 trips. I know people are like, oh, I just do 1 trip to the grocery store each week. No, you don't. It's 2. Gas. All right, I've got cars. How frequently do you fill up? Is it once every other week? Is it once a week? Is it twice a week? How much is that? Eating out. Where do we like to go eat out? How frequently? Like how many times each week? Is it just once a week? How much do we want to allocate? How much do we want to give as a little bit of an extra buffer type of a thing, right? So you come up with, this is about the amount of money that we need weekly and that we've decided that we're going to live on weekly in order for us to just buy the stuff that we need, gas, groceries, whatever, okay? So we'll come up with that weekly amount, and then what we're going to do, this would be a weekly amount, and then we're going to convert that up here into its monthly equivalent, so we're clear on how much money needs to come in so that we cover all the bills over here and we can spend the money, right? So we got a weekly amount, and that's the weekly spending. Okay, so now money's coming in, all of our bills go over here, they just get paid automatically. Coming over here, weekly, we have money coming in, we can go buy the stuff weekly. Now, a couple of notes about this weekly spending account to make it really simple. The way my wife and I do it is we actually make 2 transfers. So we don't transfer it weekly. We know how much money we need weekly, but we actually make one transfer that hits on Friday and another one that hits on the following Monday. And this is for about 65% of the total weekly amount. And then the Monday one is the other 35%. And the reason being is that for us, well, one, what I found is if you transfer it weekly, you run out of money in about 5 days. Like, we're just not that good as humans. The second thing is we spend most of our spending on the weekend. So we get the bulk of that weekly amount on Friday, usually hits Thursday night. And then we do our dates and our grocery shopping stuff on Friday. And then Monday, we get a next little bump to make it through the rest of the week. And the really nice thing about this, again, going back to like this, can I buy that? Is when I give myself money this way and I want to go buy something, the only thing that I have to consider, I don't have to worry if it's a good thing or if I'm being disciplined or I'm not being disciplined. The only thing that I have to worry about when I'm choosing to spend money out of this account is, if I spend it, can we as a family survive until Friday or until Monday? That's it. Makes it so super simple to decide to spend something. You don't have to have any emotional baggage around it. Okay? All right, so we got bills money going over monthly. We've got weekly spending money. We calculate the weekly amount, but we send it over twice a week. These are all automatic. And then this is the only account that you're going to have a debit card. And if you have a significant other, a spouse or whatever in there, then they have their own debit card tied to the same weekly spending account. That way, if I need to buy something for my wife on the way home, I can just go buy it. I use this card and it comes out of the same account. Okay? All right. So we got bills and spending. Those are the 2 primary ways that money leaves us, the way that we spend money. Now, there are a couple of other ways that we spend money. This next one coming down here, I'm going to call this accrue, meaning we need to save this money up and spend. Okay? And then this last one that we're going to get to down here, I'm going to call accrue, then spend. And I'll tell you the difference. Okay? So accrue and spend is, I need to be accruing money every single month for, and I'll give you some examples here, but I'm going to be accruing money every single month, but I'm going to spend it sort of whenever it needs to be spent. Whereas accrue then spend is, I need to move money over every single month, and usually it's like once a year I'm going to spend it. So this would be like your anniversaries, Christmas, etc. This stuff will be different. So let me give you some examples that'll make total sense. Okay. So here, one account that we have is we have a fun account, and that fun account, it's actually my favorite account. The fun account is the account that we can spend on whatever the crap we want whenever we want. So we put money aside every single month into the fun account. We can save it up and spend it. We could spend it a little bit every single day. It doesn't matter. The point is money's going in consistently. We spend it whenever we want. We also have a crap happens account. That is for all those things that are like, well, I don't know what's going to happen. I just know something's going to happen. Tire's going to go out. Kid's going to have cavities. Something's going to break. So we put money aside. We accrue it consistently, but we spend it whenever it needs to be spent. Another example would be when our daughters were in dance. We had a bill for their dance fee. That got paid out of here. But then they would have, they'd go to conventions and competitions. They'd have costume fees, choreography fees. I knew about how much money I needed to spend over the course of the year. I did not know when I was going to spend it. So we would accrue consistently the monthly amount, so I had enough in there. And then whenever it needed to get spent, it would just get spent. So those are the types of accrue and spend accounts. And then down here, the accrue then spend accounts would be stuff like anniversary, holidays. So for us, Christmas. This could be stuff like vacation you're saving up for, whatever. So the accrue then spend is something that I'm accruing for, and then it's probably going to get spent basically all at the same time. Like I'm going to spend all my anniversary money in like a week. All the Christmas money gets spent about in a month time frame, right? And then vacation gets spent all around the vacation. Okay? So these are, I haven't given you every one of these accounts that we have because it doesn't really matter. but it gives you an example of all the types of accounts that you'd want to have set up. So again, I get paid, money comes into my buffer, and then I've already decided ahead of time, I know how much money needs to go into bills. They all just get paid automatically. I don't have to look at that. Literally, this takes about 5 minutes a month. I just go through and I'm like, yep, that one got paid, that got paid, that got paid, that got paid. Okay, cool, got it. Like nothing broke, right? On the weekly side, I have a weekly amount that I've calculated based on what makes sense for our family. We transfer it in twice a week. My wife and I have debit cards. You can do whatever you want, but we transfer it in twice a week so that when we're going to spend here, the only decision we have to make is, hey, if I buy this, do I have enough money to make it to Friday or to Monday? That's it. I don't have to worry about bills because they're already handled up here. I don't have to worry about Christmas. I don't have to worry about an accident coming up or a dance. Like, it's just, I just need to spend that money because I need to, and I can make it until Friday, so we're good to go, okay? Then I've allocated down here, hey, I got fun, I got crap happens, I'm being responsible, I'm having fun, I'm being responsible with crap happens, I'm setting money aside for dance. You could create as many of these accounts as you want. And then down here, I've got, hey, you know what? Once a year, this thing's going to roll around. If I'm not being smart every single month, then I'm going to run out of, I'm not going to have any money to do an anniversary or to do Christmas, or I'm going to go into debt, or I'm going to do whatever. So this is the accrue then spend. And I've got my monthly amounts all here. So all of these monthly amounts tally up to, hey, your job is to make sure that that much money comes in so that you can kick it out all these ways. Now, let me just walk through. I told you what this was going to do for you if you set this system up. Here's what it does. If you look at this, guess what we just did? Ahead of time, we told our money exactly where we wanted it to go. We have been responsible with crap happens. We've given ourselves some leeway to be able to just spend some money on whatever we want. We have allocated, made it really easier for us to decide when and where and how we need to spend money because I don't have to worry about if I'm spending my dance money when it's time to do spending money here. I know I'm setting money aside for anniversary. And all of the amounts that I set here are set within how much I know I'm making, right? So it forces me ahead of time to decide where my money's going to go and consider how much money I'm making so that it will actually work, okay? 15 minutes a month. Here's all I do every month. I just go down. I'm like, all right, cool. Did we pay all those? Did we make those transfers? Did these transfers happen? Okay, we're done. Takes literally about 15 minutes a month. That's it. I don't have to spend any more time. And I have complete control, complete confidence, complete clarity because I know exactly where all my money's flowing. Now, we talked about one of the things was this has to be stupid simple for me to know in 15 seconds whether or not I can spend any money. And I don't want to spend any time running this thing. I don't have to spend any time running this thing. I already told you that piece, but I just want to reiterate it again. I do not have to spend any time running it because it's all just set up in accounts. So the money just flows. It's all automatic. All I do is I spend money out of my weekly spending account. Now, the other part was it has to be stupid simple for me to know, can I buy that? So check this out. Okay, we don't ever touch bills. It just pays bills. I got my weekly spending. Let's say I've used up all my weekly spending and I have something I want to buy. Then what I do is I go into my phone, I look at my app, and I'm like, cool, do I have money in my fund money account? If the answer is yes, then I pull it out of my fund money account and I spend it. If the answer is no, then I don't. So I know whether I can buy it or not. If I know that there's something else I want to buy with the fund money account, then I know that I don't have enough money, and so I know not to buy it. So immediately I know whether I can spend that money or not. The dance company calls up and it's like, hey, it's time to pay for the convention fees. Can I buy that? Can I spend that money? Well, yeah, I already know because I got the money set aside. So I go look at it. Maybe they called like, hey, we're adding an extra convention. Can you guys come? Well, I'll go look at it and see, do I have enough money in here to make that work? If not, I'm going to have to borrow from my fund money. So I go look at my fund money account. It's just a bank account. It tells me how much money's in there right now. I go look at it and be like, all right, I can pull that money over, no big deal. In more extreme cases, I can go look at, all right, well, I could, but it's going to change what we can do for our anniversary, or it's going to change what we're going to do for Christmas, which is fine, but you just want to be really, really clear that that's what you're doing. What most people do is they have an affair on their anniversary, on their Christmas budget, on their vacation budget, but they don't know it. I'm okay if you change your plan. I just want it to be stupid simple to decide what you're going to do, and I want you to be aware of what the implications are when you make that decision. All right? So here's how we set everything up. Now, last thing we got to do, and then we're going to be done, is we got to talk about which banks these are going to live at. So we're going to do a red bank and a green bank, and this doesn't mean good or bad. It just means there's a difference. So my buffer account, my bills account, and all of my accrue, then spend accounts are all going to live at the red bank, okay? And then my weekly spending here, and my fun, crap happens, dance, all of my accrue and spend accounts, those are all going to live at the green bank. Here's why. When I go to spend this money, I need to have ready access to it. I should be able to spend my fund money as fast as I want. Crap happens, like when a tire pops, like, well, hold on, I got to wait for my money to transfer from one bank to another. No, I got to be able to pay for that, like now. So I need to have direct access to it to pay it. What I don't want to have is as immediate or as direct access to my anniversary fund, my Christmas fund, or my whatever. Like that, I want to have, I actually want to put a little bit of a barrier up so it's not easy for me to cheat. It's possible, but not easy, right? So I want that money over here. I kind of want to tuck it away and hide it in a separate account or a separate bank rather, so I don't see it all the time when I'm spending money on a day-to-day basis. Because again, I don't log in and look at these accounts all the time. I just know that money's flowing over there. I spend 95% of my logged into my bank time is at these banks right here, or at this bank right here with these accounts. So specifically for me and for my wife, our green bank, the weekly spending in these accounts, it's at Ally. And the reason why it's at Ally is because I like their interface, their mobile app. I like all of that. They also they'll reimburse up to $10 a month in bank transaction fees. So I can use any ATM, or ATM transaction fees rather. So I can use any ATM, and they'll let me create as many accounts as I want. So I can just create as many of these accounts as I want. It makes my life super, super simple. My red bank is Capital One. And the reason why it's a Capital One is because they were one of the best banks when I was looking at it before. And they'll let me create as many accounts as I want. I don't really need debit cards in any of these accounts, so I'm not really worried about it because, again, the only debit card we have is here. Capital One lets me create as many accounts as I want. I chose Ally for my spending over Capital One because I think Ally's mobile interface it's a little bit cleaner. I like it a little bit more. So that's it. That's basically how the whole flow works. This transfer happens automatically, even though it's going from bank to bank. It just takes a couple more days. But we use Ally here. We use Capital One here. Because they'll let me create as many accounts as I want, and because of the interface stuff. All right, so that's how we set everything up. The last thing to understand about the system as you go to run it is I only have these debit cards. So I have this one, my wife has this one. If we want to spend money, we just go into the mobile from Fund. We just go in the mobile app and move it over. We spend it out of spending. If we need to do Crap Happens, you transfer it, spend it out of there. If we need to do dance stuff, we transfer it, spend it out of there. Once we get to hey, it's time for the anniversary. Again, this is not like an immediate thing. Like the anniversary shouldn't sneak up on me, right? So I'll move it. It'll take 2 or 3 days to get transferred from Capital One to Ally, but I just move it into spending and then I spend it from there. Same thing with Christmas, same thing with vacations. All the spending happens out of here. And that's what it's what makes it so simple and so easy because I know exactly where all of my money is just based on account. And I don't have to go update anything because I don't need another system to tell me which account the money's in. I already know which accounts it's in, and I get no extra value by adding a bunch of extra categories. I don't care if I spend more than I budgeted on eating out versus groceries. All I care about is, did I not go over on this amount? 1 week I might be like, no, we're eating out the whole time. Another week I might be like, no, we're staying at home. It doesn't make a difference. As long as I stay under that weekly amount, then I'm good to go. Okay, so that's it. That's how I'm in complete control. I can tell you exactly where all my money is and what's going on within 15 seconds. You can ask me any question about my finances in 15 seconds. I can tell you. So I have complete control, complete confidence. It takes me less than 15 minutes a month because all I got to do is make sure these transfers and bills are happening the way that they're supposed to. It tells my money where to go. So ultimately, if you request a little sheet that I'll give you, it's a sheet that walks through and you list off all these things. So I have one sheet that tells me exactly where my money's going, and then the entire system is automatic transfer, so it makes sure that it gets there. And then the last thing I just want to touch on real quick is this this relief from emotional head trash around budgeting, around spending, around whatever. So I'm going to use green for this because green is like green light, good to go, right? Everything's good. This is what's so powerful. Because I've already planned this out, the permission to spend money is actually these arrows right here. These arrows are the permission slip to spend money. Let me tell you what I mean by that. What I mean is, once I transfer it out of this account and it hits fund, I can spend on whatever I want. I don't have to think twice about it. I don't have to worry about it. I don't have to question whether I'm being responsible or not. I don't have to worry about how rational or irrational my spending is. Out of spending, out of fun, out of Crap Happens, it doesn't matter. Because I already did all of that thinking when I created the entire plan. So I know that if there's money in here, I have a 1,000% green light to go spend it, and it's not going to affect any other part of my lifestyle because I've already created the system. I don't have to wait for it to show up in some report from some financial system that tells me that I spent X amount on eating out for me to feel good. It's like, no, it doesn't matter. I have the money. I can spend, and the spending, I can go eat at this ridiculous restaurant because I have that much money left over, and tomorrow's Friday, and I'm going to get a whole chunk of new money on Friday. It doesn't matter. None of the categories matter. This is the permission slip to spend the money, is the system, and then it gets transferred. I can do whatever the crap I want for my anniversary because I've already decided that that's how much money I have. If it's in the account, I have permission to spend it on what's in the account. And if I want to cheat and I want to do more at Christmas than anniversary or vice versa, whatever, I can do that because I can see exactly what's happening. I'm in complete control and I have complete clarity. Got it? All right. So that's it. There'll be a link somewhere around here that you can click to get the instructions on how to go, like the specifics of go set this account up. Here's the sheet that you would use to set it up. So if you want that, go check that out. If you have any questions, throw some comments or whatever. And then again, they tell me that it's a YouTube video or something. Oh, lights are coming on. It's like a YouTube video or something. So, you're supposed to like and do whatever the things are you do on the YouTube. Anyway, hopefully this was helpful. Would love to hear results and or feedback when you go set it up. If you think it's stupid, just go somewhere else. I don't need to hear that comment. Yeah, that's it. I'll catch you on the next video. Peace.